Hi, it's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials as well as give a lot of baking business tips. Now you can probably hear it in my voice. I am very sick, and I have been sick the last couple days, but honestly, I think I've been sick since October. I pretty much get sick every few years around the holidays, so this wasn't actually that surprising, and I'm just glad that it happened now and not when my winter concert was happening because I'm the only one that can play all of the tracks on the piano, so really important that I get healthy and I continue making content for you guys. And luckily, I made this before, so I can share it with you today. For this tutorial, you're just going to need a few fondant colors. I am using peach. I'm also going to be using white for this little snowflake, but you really don't need that. And then I'm going to be using green and red. But peach is probably the most important color, and then you can just use whatever other colors you want. Oh, and of course, you're going to need black. Throughout our days of Vlogmas, I've been doing a mixture of fondant figures as well as flat fondant. My sister is a huge fan of the flat fondant, which is why I went with this. Normally, I would just go for the fondant figures, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you more of a fondant topper type person, or do you like the flat fondant? You want to put down a little bit of cornstarch if your fondant is sticking, and be sure to add a little bit of shortening as well if it's looking a little bit dry. To get this peachy color, I did mix peach with a little tiny bit of yellow and a tiny amount of brown, but you could honestly just leave it peach and it would still look really good. To make the ears, I'm taking one ball and splitting it in half. Anytime you're making two of anything, it's best to do that so things are really nice and even. I'm using a little caking tool here. You could probably use a chopstick if you don't have that caking tool on hand. And then I'm just going to place the ears at the side. I learned this a long time ago. I think it was from my art teacher. I can't remember. I think it was my art teacher in grade 11, and she taught us to actually align the nose with the ears of a person because that's where it actually aligns, and I never knew that. So pretty much all of my drawings growing up as a kid, the ears were like way up and the nose was way down, but it makes a lot more sense that the nose is aligned with the ears. A little tip as well, when you are working with flat fondant like this, you want to make sure that you move it from time to time so that your work doesn't stick to the surface. So even if you put down a little cornstarch, it can always end up sticking a little bit depending on the climate of where you're working. So be sure to move it around, and trust me, it'll save you the headache and the tears of realizing that your beautiful work is stuck to your surface. Also, if you're planning on making multiple of these, what I would do is I would cut out all of the heads, and then fairly soon after you cut out each head, make sure that you indent it with the smile using the X-Acto knife like I did, and either a toothpick or a caking tool, and then you can go ahead and add on all of the other pieces in a factory-like manner. The reason, of course, that you have to indent the head as you go is because if you wait, it's going to cause the fondant to crack and dry out when you try to puncture it with those details. I know I've been featuring the same type of eyes on most of my cupcake toppers this year. I just think the simple black eye with the white glint looks so endearing. Now to make the hair, you can use whatever color you would like. Brown, yellow, black, whichever. Just make sure that you use the exact same cookie cutter that you used to make the head so that the hair fits on perfectly. There is a reason that I'm cutting it this way, and the reason is because I can get way better and more even cuts and cleaner cuts when I just drag it all the way through. I used to try and just cut it out, not dragging it all the way through, and then I'd end up with jagged lines. Of course, you guys probably have better pen blades and X-Acto knives than I do, which are sharper, so you won't have a problem. But if you do have my problem, then drag it all the way through and you will be just fine. You can change up the thickness of your fondant depending on what you like on your cupcake, but I will say be careful. Don't go too thin because then it makes the topper a little bit too fragile. But for things like the hair, you could definitely go thinner, and it's probably not going to impact your piece too much. It's more about the actual base itself where you need to be more mindful of the thickness. I love it when I get to the fun part of the cupcake, meaning pretty much everything is done. I just need to add on those few details. And I don't know why, probably the coloring that I used, but it's giving me a little bit of Robin Hood vibes when I look at this elf, so I decided to add on the snowflake. With this style of fondant topper, you can use any buttercream that you desire. Choose the fluffiest, yummiest one. You don't need a whole lot of stability for this one. I am using Italian meringue buttercream, but it's completely your choice. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading every single day, so be sure to come back tomorrow for Vlogmas to see what other cupcake design I come up with. And if you're sad that this video is over, do not fret, because I'm also uploading every single day with Alia on the Bake Down podcast. Bye!